With Madden 26 just a week away, it's time to talk about 5 big features that will not be in the upcoming Madden game. I do this video every year because not everybody is up to date on every little thing that was added to the game and what wasn't added, so sometimes people get the game and they're surprised that certain features still aren't back in the game. Now I am happy to say over the 5+ years of making this video on this channel, a lot of the things that used to be in these videos are now back in the game, so we've crossed a lot of stuff off the list, things like assistant coaches, things like the ability to create teams. And with this year's game, things like a proper halftime show or broadcasting packages for the different primetime games. Those are all things that were in these videos for years and they're now back in the game. So we got to keep pushing to get some of these other things to return to the game. Let's start with number 1, historic teams. This has been the thing over the last few years that I've seen grow more and more in terms of what people want to be brought back to the game. I'm seeing it in my comment sections a lot. I've seen it on social media a lot. And I think because some of the other big things that we used to complain about for years are now back in the game, this is one of those things that is now kind of taking priority in terms of what people want to see. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have every single player on the historic teams. I don't even really think that would be possible. That would be a licensing nightmare. However, if you can bring back some of those really historic teams like the Greatest Show on Turf Rams, for example, we don't need the entire team. I don't even think it would be possible, but you can have guys like Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, maybe a couple of the bigger name offensive linemen, but for the rest of the guys, you might have to just have generic players. Now, I don't really know exactly how they would work around this because you probably can't use same number and a player that looks similar to the guy that you're trying to replicate, because that's how they got sued with the NCAA games back in the day. So they would have to find a workaround for it. I know that even in the 2K games with their historic teams, even though they're much smaller rosters, they don't even have every player on those teams as well. So I don't think the expectation is that we need everybody, but you just want most of the star players and then figure out how to make the generic players work. I think people would be a big fan of this coming back. And while it's not going to be in Madden 26, hopefully in the future they bring this back. Number 2, Stadium Creator. Now, last year we did get the return of the ability to create teams with Team Builder, which in my opinion is much better than what the old created team used to be, because Team Builder allows you to upload your own logos and really customize the jerseys. You don't get to pick presets, you get to actually customize the stripes on your jerseys, the name on your jerseys, all the different colors. So I'm glad that we have that back, but the one thing that is still missing, the one component from this that we did have back in the day, was the ability to create stadiums. Now yes, on the PS2 and even the early PS3, Xbox 360 days, the Stadium Creator wasn't anything that crazy, but it did have enough options for the time to at least satisfy our needs. Now in the big 2025, the fact that we don't have a Stadium Creator in current Madden, to me seems like a big miss, and we also don't have it in college football yet either. I do think this is a feature that's going to be coming back sooner than later. I think they've heard a lot of the noise around this. You can't give us something as awesome as Team Builder and not give us the ability to create a custom stadium. I mean, you could do this in other games like MLB The Show, for example. We need this in Madden. However, it's not going to be in Madden 26. We're going to continue on with the list, but really quickly, I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you do is pick higher or lower on player stats, and if you hit, you can win some big money. And football is officially back as of tonight, baby, so you can now go higher or lower during the preseason if you want, or you can wait until week 1. They already got week 1 projections up, and if you use my code RAY, R-A-Y, they give you a free play at sign up, and they give you up to $1,000 in bonus credit on your first deposit, and you just can't beat that. Number 3, more positions in Superstar mode. This is one that has been on this list before, and unfortunately it is still here, and the same does apply for Road to Glory in college football. We still have the same 5 positions that we've had for about 3 to 4 years now. I can't remember exactly when they last updated this, but we still only have the ability to be quarterback, running back, receiver, linebacker, or cornerback. The fact that we still don't have a safety or a tight end or an edge rusher position, to me, is kind of crazy. I mean, back on PS2, you could be literally anybody on the field. You could be the kicker, you could be the left guard. Now, personally, I'm just going to say I don't need all of that. I just would like to have a safety, a tight end, an edge rusher. Just the most popular positions, I think those should be there in both games, not just Madden. But however, they're not going to be in Madden 26. They really need to update this. It's been a long time. I know they're trying to make the mode better and they're trying to do other things in the mode before they add more positions. But at the end of the day, I think what EA has to realize is that all the extra stuff you add to the mode is great. We want it to be more lifelike. We want to have more options, but at its core, what most people want is just to get on the field and play with a player. That is the number one thing people want. You can strip everything else back, but if you give people the ability to play a safety, there's a lot of people that would be much happier with a stripped back version being able to be different positions rather than a mode that has all these extra things that you're trying to add, but a lack of positions. The positions is the groundwork. You have to allow people to be some of these popular positions like a safety and an edge rusher and a tight end because that's what people want to do. And the other component to this is last year, EA removed the ability to play as a single player in franchise mode. So what a lot of people would do is if they wanted to play as a safety or a tight end, for example, they would just do the play a player franchise mode instead of playing as an entire team or doing an owner or something like that. They've removed that from the game because they want people to play superstar mode, which that's fine. Superstar mode is better than doing a player franchise where you're just simply player locking onto a player and you get nothing extra. The issue is if you want to play specific positions, those aren't available in superstar mode. So there are people that would much rather play the franchise version that used to be in the game, even though there was no extras and it was just literally player locking and that was all you did. A lot of people, that's just what they want to do. Everything else is just extra for them. So you need to get that back into superstar mode because there's so many other popular positions that people want to play. But unfortunately for now, this still will not be in Madden 26. Number 4, create a play. Now, this is something that was in Madden for a brief period back in the day, and it was kind of buggy. It didn't really work that great, but this is something in the big 2025 that I think should be in the game. And I know that you run into the thing where maybe people will cheese it too much for online play. I think even if you just kept it as an offline feature, that would be a start for like franchise mode. But I think what you do with a feature like this is you don't give people the ability to create their own routes because that was kind of buggy in the old system. I think you just give people access to a full route tree and let them create plays just like they would already on the field in an online game anyway, where you're hot routing everybody on the field. Let people create these plays without having to hot route everything every single time, because in real life these teams draw up any play they want as long as it's within the NFL rules. So I think give us the ability to have the entire route tree and the formations that are in the game and let us just cook on our own. But for now, this is still going to be absent from Madden. Number 5, the ability to customize contracts. This is one that has been on the list before, and this is still one of the few things for franchise mode that has not been changed in a while. They've done some stuff with contracts a few years ago where they made them a little more customizable, but you can't fully customize them the way people want. You can't front load, you can't back load. Heck, when you sign free agents, you pretty much only have one option as to how you can sign them. And I do think franchise mode has gotten a lot better over the last 5 years. I mean, if you go back to Madden 19, Madden 20, Madden 21, we have a lot more in franchise now than we did then, which is great. But this is still one area that's a really big deal for a lot of people. And we really need to get this in the game going forward. But for now, it's not going to be in Madden 26. Now, speaking of franchise mode, this is the biggest franchise mode update Madden has made in a very long time. And if you want to find out everything about it, you can check that out in this video right here on the screen.